Hey, hello, good evening, everyone. Okay, so there are certain things that we are going to discuss today. The first one would be about Node.js that we will start from this week onwards. And after that, we will start with MongoDB, and means that is a database that which we will use. And later on today's session, I will disclose the details for all the final projects that we are going to build. All right. So are we excited to start, everyone? To get the details of all final projects and all, because in the last session I said that in quiz session I will announce that part, but later we kept that thing on hold because we want to improvise it more. That's why we added few more points, so few more quality checkpoints that will make your project even better, okay, and presentable to the world. All right, so it's 6:35. So I will wait for another 30-40 seconds, then we will start. Okay, so let's start today's session. Okay. So first, let me just give a quick updates. Let me of the internship program. I think we have received submissions for some of you for the weather applications API, and but I'm yet to receive submissions from all of you. So say those of us who are joining this session, so 26 participants are here, but all of you haven't joined, haven't submitted that assignments. So why is it happening? So is there any issue that you can come to me, or you can ask? Is there anything that you want to ask me about the about why it is, why you have not submitted this weather application, that part? Is there anything that you would like to highlight? Say, is there any knowledge gap that you need more knowledge on some specific area? Say you need knowledge in jQuery or Ajax, or say how to consume API and all. So if you need such knowledge, then you can always come to me, or you can also connect to with your coaches. So they will guide you for sure. So if you face any such issues, please, again, I'm saying again, you come back to us, you join. So you contact your coaches, so they will help you to get the most out of it, right? They will help you to resolve all the issues that you are facing, right? So I would like everyone, so who have not submitted, to submit the assignment by today, or to say tomorrow evening. You can take the time. So you take tomorrow's date. So you submit the weather application, because whatever we are implementing here is a simple one, and the final project that I am going to give you is going to be a little bit difficult one, right? So for that, it is necessary for you to complete this part first, and then move on to the Node.js and the more complex part like Node.js and MongoDB, right? So are you going to finish it by tomorrow, who have not completed? Is it going to happen, guys? Yes. Okay, so please complete by tomorrow, because that is only that is the thing that we okay. So sorry. Okay, so someone is joining. Okay, fine. So assignment is a very important parameter for us to decide, so how much marks you got in the week 3, right? So the week 3 assignment is important, because that is the assignment which where you will work with APIs, because in this from this week onwards we will build our own APIs. Okay, so for that it is important to complete that part. Fine. Okay, so those who have committed here, yes, sir, I will complete. Please do so. Stick to your words, whatever you are saying, and you complete that part quickly. Okay, so let's not waste much time here. Okay, another thing is that I will disclose, as I said, that I will disclose all the details of the final year project. So what will happen, for every team there will be one project. Okay, and I will give you the project details and all, and so we will come to that part later on. Okay, so let's start with today's knowledge session. So this week I have planned with two technologies. One is the Node.js. Another thing is the MongoDB, right? So what is Node.js? Anyone has any idea? What is Node.js? Guys, anyone has any idea? Basic idea, just what is Node.js? Okay, JavaScript runtime. This is JS backend framework. Okay, fine. Anything else? Any other concept? What is Node.js? Don't sit. Yeah, type. If you know, type. What is Node.js? Okay, server. Okay, type whatever thing is coming in your mind first. You just type that part. JavaScript backend framework. Okay, great. Anyone has anything in mind? Anything else in mind for Node.js? No? Fine. Okay. So what I am saying is that Node.js is a open source cross-platform JavaScript runtime environment. Okay, and it is a very popular tool. You can create almost any kind of project. You can build your own APIs. You can build your own interface. So this is a JavaScript that runs on server. So previously, what we know that JavaScript runs on browser. So whatever we have learned till week 3, we have worked with JavaScript on browser, right? So we have written our own API call, our own validations on form validations and all. So those things runs on the browser end. Okay, but the Node.js is a thing that runs on the server. It uses the Chrome's V8 engine, and that is actually the core to the Google Chrome platform or the browser that we use. And then it allows Node.js to run on the server's end. Okay, so Node.js application runs in the third thing is which is very important is that the Node.js application runs in a single process. So without creating a new thread. So you can take a note for that. So Node.js application runs in a single process. Okay. So it runs in a single process without creating a new thread for every request. So Node.js provides a set of asynchronous IO primitives in its standard library that prevent JavaScript code from blocking, and generally libraries in Node.js are written in non-blocking paradigms. Okay, so making this blocking behavior the exception rather than a norm. The fourth point that I would like to highlight here is that when Node.js performs any IO operation, IO means input-output operation, like reading from database or reading from network. Okay, so instead of blocking the whole thread or wasting the whole CPU, the Node.js resumes the operation when response comes back. Okay, and fifth thing that the Node.js allows us to handle thousands of concurrent requests with a single server without introducing any burden of managing thread concurrency or something like that. Okay, which may be prone to the bugs. Okay, so that is the advantage of Node.js. It allows us to manage thousands of hundreds of requests at the same instance, and it allows thousands of concurrent connections to the server. Okay, from a single instance without introducing any kind of load balancer or anything like that. So that is the reason Node.js is used nowadays in most of the application, and it is one of the popular web backend framework, you can say, that is available on the internet today, right? So let's learn about a little bit of history of Node.js. So Node.js was first introduced in the year 2009. You can say Node.js is born. And then in the year 2010, the Express is born. Anyone knows what is Express? Anyone knows what is Express? Okay, so it is a framework that is built on top of Node.js. Okay, so Express was first born in the year 2010. Then in 2000, with Express, then Socket.io came. So anyone knows what is Socket.io? So I will talk about that later on. But anyone knows what is Socket.io? Okay, so used to make real-time apps. Okay, I would say it is a little bit some details is missing. So it is used to establish the WebSocket connection. So WebSocket is a key part. So whenever okay, so I will talk about WebSocket later on. So but for the time being, you know that Socket.io is something which is used to push some message to a client or something like that, like a push message you have seen. Say you receive notifications on your mobile phone, right? Those are push notifications. When some sort of server, they're pushing the notification to your mobile phones. So Socket.io is something which is the push mechanism for the servers. Okay, say in your Facebook you are logged in and someone liked your photo. So at that time you see this so notification comes, and at that time you would be able to see the notification on the Facebook, right? So someone sent you a friend request. So how that notification is coming even though you haven't refreshed the page? So that comes with the WebSocket. So that is the technology behind that kind of push notification for web. And Socket.io is another framework or library, you can say, which is used to send some that kind of push notification to the web browsers. All right. Then year 2011, everyone knows the NPM 1.0 is released. What is NPM? I think it is a very simple one. What is NPM? Most of you have used NPM, Node Package Manager. Yes, it is a package manager, or you can say all the libraries that we will use in Node.js, they comes by default in NPM, right? So NPM has a huge registry. So you can build your own NPM library also. Say you have in JavaScript, you have made a calculator application. Okay, and if you want to publish that application to NPM, you can directly build. So they have some sort of developer guidelines which we have to follow. Then you can publish your library to the NPM registry. Right. Similarly, there is Yarn. Yarn is developed by Facebook. So sometime you will see the Yarn is an alternative of NPM. So in any cases, you will see that they say Yarn install something like that apart from NPM. All right. Then the year 2000, after 2012, the rapid adoption of Node.js started. So many big companies or startups, they came together, they adopted the technology, and those who need the very concurrent requests, say their traffic is very huge. Okay, in that case, those companies, they use Node.js to take the advantage of that the asynchronous behavior of the JavaScript, and they implemented Node.js on the server side. Okay, so next we will talk about the JS browser. Okay, Node.js and browser. So what is the difference between Node.js and browser? The first thing is that there is similarity, is that what is the similarity? Both things written in JavaScript, right? The second thing is that but okay, so what are the differences between Node.js and the browser? So you know that the most of the applications that we write for the browser, they interact with the DOM, right? But we don't have such thing in our Node.js. So in browser case, with JavaScript, we interact with the document object model or the window property, right? We interact with the HTML document. But in case of Node.js, that kind of situation is not there. So Node.js, what are the advantages of Node.js? So with Node.js, that we get some sort of APIs through which we can manage the file system. We can access some other modules of hardware, right? So that is one advantage of Node.js. Okay. So with Node.js, the next thing which is very important, that is the event loop. So what is event loop? So as I said, Node.js is a single process. So if Node.js runs the server in a single process. Okay. So and this event loop is very important. So I will show you one diagram after that. So why it is important? Because it explains how Node.js can be asynchronous and have non-blocking IO. Non-blocking IO means one IO operation should not interfere with other IO operation, right? That is why event loop comes into the picture, and I will show you with the diagram in the next slide how it is working. Okay, so Node.js JavaScript code runs in a single thread, and there is just one thing happening at a time. So like what I have written here. Okay, so one thing runs at one instance of time. Okay, so it cannot run two things parallelly in two separate threads. All right. So here I'm saying you just need to pay attention to how you write your code and avoid anything that could block your thread, like synchronous network calls or infinite loops. So that is maybe one reason that we are using Node.js in this case, because we want our application to be asynchronous in nature. That's why we can perform parallel things with this asynchronous. Using this asynchronous behavior, we can take advantage of that. We can run several different things at one time. Okay, so with the event loop, one important thing is what comes to the picture, that is call stack. So how Node.js processes every call? It happens in LIFO format, like a stack you have seen, right? So whatever elements comes last, that goes out first. So in Node.js also, whatever, say you have 10 lines of code. Okay, so whatever, so it starts executing one by one. Okay, and whatever thing comes last, that executes first. So I will show you how it happens. Okay, the event loop continuously checks the call stack to see if there is any new function that it need to read or run. Okay, so stack is something where it is keeping all the lines of code, and the event loop is checking from the stack which program to execute when. All right, so as I said, while doing so, it adds any function, any function call it finds to the call stack and executes one after another. Okay, so now here let's take an example of a simple event loop. Okay, so this is, this is one function that I have written, that is bar. So this is written in ES6. So this is just printing one console log. Okay, that is bar. And there is another function baz, and this console log is there baz. This is another function which is printing simple foo and a simple text, and then it is calling these two other functions. Okay, and I am just in the next line, in this line I am calling this function. Okay, now let's see how that thing, everything, how this thing works in case of a Node.js, how the call stack works and all. So can you see the screen? I think it is visible. So okay, so say first it is first, so first the foo function is called. Okay, so once the foo is called, now you see inside foo there is a console log, right? So console log foo, that means this console log will execute. Okay, then this is the this is the current state of the call stack. Okay, then after some time there is a sorry. Okay, so they after some certain timeout, so the call stack is empty, and see it executes a bar function. Okay, it executes this bar function. So inside bar function there is a console log. Okay, so I think the diagram is a little bit, I think I missed it somehow. Okay, then there is a baz function which it executes. So once these baz functions get executed, then there is a bar function. Okay, and it executes it one by one. So after that, when the bar function is executed, then it makes it empty. So the first iteration, so let's see what is the iteration that I have pointed out here. So first the foo function is called, then there is a console log, then there is some sort of set timeout is there, then it is calling the baz function. So inside baz function there is a console log, then it is calling the bar function, and inside that there is a console log. Okay, this is how the event loop is working in case of a Node.js. Okay, after that, one thing is very important that you should know, what is a async property of JavaScript. So how async programming and callbacks work in case of JavaScript. So every computer program, if you imagine, is asynchronous in nature, like in your desktop. So you are writing your code, okay, in your VS code, and at the same time you're running browser. Okay, so that system are working together without interfering with each other in the asynchronous manner. So computers or computer programs are designed to be asynchronous in nature. So JavaScript is synchronous by default. So this is one difference. So JavaScript is synchronous by default, and it is single threaded, like what I said. This means that the code cannot create a new thread and run in parallel. So two codes cannot run in parallel thread. Okay, so it is a single threaded design. So let's take another example. So there is a simple JS code where I have defined few constants, and there is a console log, and then there is another function do something. Okay, but the JavaScript that is born in browser, its main job from the beginning is to handle some sort of events, like say there is an on click event, there is a on mouse over event, there is an on submit event. So how you would how the synchronous model will work. So say there are certain things that you need to execute. Apart from that, you have to handle the interactivity of the user. Okay, so how you will handle that? This is where the callbacks come to the picture. So what is callback? Say in the last slide I have said, so you have a button and you don't know whenever the user will click the button. Okay, and it is so it is difficult to know, right? So in that case, you need to define one event handler to handle such events. Okay, so we will write some event handler in pure vanilla JavaScript, like say document.getElement by ID button, then add event listener, then there is a click event, and there is some sort of function that which you can execute, or you can some sort of code that you can execute whenever user clicks one button, right? So what happens is that, so once the user clicks the button, these functions get executed. So this is something I'm calling a callback function, means whenever the event is happening, so I'm making a call to some other function. All right, so this is how a callback works. Okay, and the callback is a simple function. So if you go by the definition, the callback is a simple function that is passed a value to other function, and it will only be executed when the some sort of event happens. Okay, this is something which is callback, and callback is used in Node.js very extensively. And sometimes say you are making one API call. All right, so after that API call happens, so you may show that after the API call, you want to show some sort of UI to the user. So in that case, you can add a callback. Then say if there is an error, okay, so how you will gracefully handle that error? Okay, so for that you need to show one error dialog. In that case also callback comes to the picture. So these callbacks, if you use multiple callbacks one by one, so it may become a loop of all callbacks, that it may become so complex that a concept of callback hell is literally a callback hell is present in Node.js. Okay, so that means you can get puzzled with all kind of callbacks. Okay, so to prevent that part, there is certain things that is in JavaScript, like promise or so, which nowadays which became very popular to prevent such callback hell incident. Okay, so this is something called JavaScript promise. So promise was something which was introduced in ES6. Actually, no, it was there previously, but it became more standard from ES6. Okay, so a promise is commonly defined as a proxy for a value that will eventually become available. So promise is something, say JavaScript is assuring you that yes, so I'm promising you that I will give some sort of response. It may be possible either it is true or false. I mean, I can resolve your response, also request, or I can reject your request. Okay, but I will respond for sure. That is something which is promise. Okay, so how promises work? Once a promise is being called, it starts in a pending state. Okay, this means that the calling function continues to execute, and while the promise is pending until it resolves, so giving the callback function whatever data has been requested. Okay, so the created promise will eventually end in a resolved state and or in a rejected state, as I mentioned earlier. So there are two states for a promise, whether it can be rejected or it can be resolved. Okay, so using those two state values, we can finish the operation or whatever we started before that. Okay, so promise is the approach that you should use. So if you are in confusion between the async, sorry, in the callback or the promise, so I would recommend you to use promise. And there is another thing is that few other concepts are there that you need to learn, and one is that async await. Okay, so this is another thing which came in ES6. It was there previously, but it later became more standard from ES6 onwards. So you should learn about that. What is async await? Then there is an event emitter. So similarly, say in browser we have certain events like so on mouse hover, on mouse click, something like that. So those events are there. So similarly in Node.js also we have some sort of event emitter. Okay, so these are the concepts for you to learn. Okay, so you go in details for that. Then third thing is that the creating your HTTP server. Okay, so Node.js is a language through which you can create your own HTTP server. Of course, there are some certain NPM libraries which is available, but you can make use of those libraries and you can create your own. Yes, you can create your own server and you can run that application, your Node.js application using that HTTP server. Okay, and the fourth thing is the Socket.io that I have mentioned. The Socket.io is used for the socket communication. For the WebSocket communication, I mean. Okay, so if you want to pass some sort of message from your server to your web browser, in that case you need Socket.io. Okay, so this is all about Node.js. So these are the all concepts you need to learn after that. And later I will come tomorrow onwards. I will give you the templates. So which concepts you should learn from on what should you learn. Okay. So that part will continue. So later on we will use MongoDB. So MongoDB is a, what is MongoDB? As the DB suggests, it is a database, right? So it is a NoSQL database. So like we have used SQL databases like MySQL or PostgreSQL or say Oracle, but MongoDB is a document-based NoSQL database. Okay, so it is not normal RDBMS. Okay, so there are, what are the key advantages of using MongoDB? So the first thing is that there is no schema in MongoDB. So you can have collection of documents. Okay, so every record in case of MongoDB is a document. Say we have rows, right, in databases, but in case of MongoDB, those rows actually called documents. And in relational database we have tables, right? And similarly in MongoDB we have collections. So you can have multiple collections, and each collection may have multiple documents inside. So that is something which is there in MongoDB, and why the schemaless architecture is there. So there is no defined structure of the documents. So one document, so inside one single collection only, one document may differ with other document. Okay, that means there is no specific structure. Means you can update your structure later on by when the application grows. Say you have 10 properties of a document, you can add 2 properties after 1 year. So that will not affect anything with the other old ones. Okay, that is something which I am calling, or which they are calling, schemaless. Okay, then so structure of a single object is clear. Okay, that means the documents are in a structure of a single object, which is very clear to read, and it is very clear to use whenever you're using with any REST APIs and all. Okay, and the third thing which is important is the deep query ability. There are some sort of query methods or aggregators that we will use. So whenever we will learn more about MongoDB, so that part is something which is so powerful that you will understand there that why. So people who are working with big data, okay, so they use MongoDB for this feature only. So even though this is not a RDBMS, you have certain options where you can call certain functions which is so deep that you will get amazed whenever you will use it. Okay, and the fourth thing which is very important, which is ease to scale out. So nowadays that's why MongoDB is very much popular option when it comes to the startups and all. So they are using MongoDB day in day out for their own internal projects or to large scale applications, because it is very easy to scale MongoDB so to a next level. Okay, so what are the why MongoDB? So there are certain key points that I have mentioned here. So first is the document oriented storage, like what I said. So documents are stored inside collections. So inside one database, you can have multiple collections, right? So you can index on any attribute. So if you need index on some, all attributes of a document, so that you can do it here on MongoDB. Third is there is auto sharding feature. Sharding is something which is related to the scaling part. So how you will scale your database. Okay, and the fourth thing is the rich queries, like the deep queries that you can do to your database. That is something why we use MongoDB. Right, so I have given you one task yesterday. Like I have said all of you to install Node.js and MongoDB to your system. So have you done that? Anyone is facing any problem installing Node.js? Is your Node.js installation complete, guys? Yes. Okay, great. Anyone else? So others are pending, I guess. Yes, done. Okay, so that means only four have completed. Okay, that means other people, so other 96 have not installed a Node.js yet. So I would request you to complete the installation. Okay, due to heavy rain. Okay, fine. Okay, Ronit, so fine. So you will go install Node.js and the MongoDB. So which MongoDB client you are using? So means in order to view the database, you need one client, right? So which client you are using? Anyone used any client? There are certain clients available, like I'm using one client called MongoDB Compass. Okay, that is available. Yes, so MongoDB Compass is there, which you can use to view all the collections there. So there also you can run certain queries. So you can test the queries here. So Robo3D is, yes, Robo3D is another great option which you can use. So those who have not installed, you go and install Node.js and MongoDB first. Then you can install, say, tools like MongoDB Compass or Robo3D. Those tools will help you to view the collections, view all documents inside one MongoDB database. All right. So that is it. So that is your first task. First task, you should complete installation for that. Then we will discuss about the final project. Right? Who is excited about the final project? Who wants to know the details? Who is excited for the final project? It is going to be a big one. So it means there are a lot of tasks. So certain websites that we are going to build, the applications, that will be maybe you know that part, but the task that we will give you, so that would be exciting. Okay, so one thing is that you have to do end to end. So from UI to your APIs, okay, from documentation to your data model, everything you have to do, because I want you to be a full stack developer after end of this session. So this is not going to be a teamwork, like there are 6 teams, right, in this internship program, you all know. So it is not going to be like, say, I will give one project to one team, means all the team members will work together. So because that will not work, because we will not be able to judge how much contribution you have made on certain project. That's why I want you to be I want to give you sorry, someone is still joining now. Okay, fine. So I want to give you 100% to this project and build every single bit and pieces for this project, right? From, as I said, from EY to API, from data model to documentation, everything should be done by you, and we will guide you for step by step which step you should do first, and week by week we will give you assignments. So you can consider that this whole project is a puzzle. Okay, and week by week whatever we will develop from now onwards is going to be the pieces of those puzzles. So one is combine those pieces, the puzzle becomes resolved. So puzzle resolves, right? This is something that this method we will follow for the project, right? Excited to know about the details? Yes. Okay, great. So for the first project is we will create a Flipkart clone. Okay. So yes. Okay. So we will create a clone for Flipkart. So everyone knows what is Flipkart, is an e-commerce platform. So we will not whole Flipkart, I am saying. So we will implement certain features. Okay. So what are the features? So, okay, first the project is going to the team boss. So those who are here from that team, so this is your project, so that you have to do. Okay, so the description is that the goal is to create a Flipkart clone with the following key pages or features. Okay, first there should be a listing landing screen or a home screen. Second, there is going to be a product listing page. So that listing page can be say your mobile phone listing page or laptop listing page or books or anything like that. The third thing is that the product details page. Okay, so so once someone clicks one page, that page should lead to the details page. Okay, the fourth thing is that the cart feature. Okay, means there should be a add to cart option. So you have to implement the add to cart feature using the React and Node.js. Okay, so that part we will come later on. The sixth thing is that there should be user sign in or sign out. So authentication is a behavior that you have to handle in your React application. Means that this clone, the backend part will be developed in Node.js, but the front end part will be developed in React, right? So in React.js, you have to implement the user authentication part. Okay, then there will be a checkout page where the user will give the address and all payment information, and once they make payment, so after that you can lead the user to the order confirmation page, and there should be one order listing page and order details page, right? So everyone knows, so what are these how Flipkart works, because I think most all of you have did some sort of shopping in Flipkart in earlier. Okay, so you go to the Flipkart and check the exercises. So whatever pages that I am saying here, say there are 10 pages will be there. So you go to Flipkart and check those pages. So how much, so you from this week onwards, you start designing the UI first. So use Bootstrap or Material UI, your HTML, CSS knowledge to clone that these pages. So first you start with the landing page where you have some sort of section. You use some sort of dummy images. So who would be able to create a more perfect or a more perfect clone or a dummy UI? So that person will be awarded that for the project, means that project we will consider as a flagship project for the team. Okay, so who are from Team Boss here? Anyone from Team Boss here present on this class, on the session? Okay, Divya. Okay, great. So what are your responsibilities after that? So after you got the project, and these will be the 5 phases of development. First phase is you have to design the UI. Okay, so UI using HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, or Material UI. Second part is that you have to create a data model for your backend system, right? So there has to be a backend system. So from where you will handle the user authentication or the product listing or details page, user accounts and all, orders and all. So that part you have to define. So for that you have to create a data model. So in order to create a data model, you need to install one application called Xmind. So anyone knows what is Xmind? Anyone used previously Xmind? So Xmind is available for all of the platforms. It is available for Windows. It is available for Linux and Mac also. Okay, so Xmind is a mind mapping tool. Mind mapping tool is something which where we design some sort of this kind of okay. So I will show you one example how this tool look like. Okay, so let me change my share screen option. Can you see my Xmind? Yes. Okay, great. Let me let me open one data model. Okay, fine. This is a good one. So this is so what I am showing you is a pro tool that is used in industry. Okay, so it is so we use it for mapping our internal projects. Okay, so many other companies use this tool to map their applications, right? So how it happens? So this is one application. Say there is uh, a job post. Okay, so say this is my one of my table, and what are the attributes of the table? It is defined here. And if this table has any relationship with other table, so that can be also defined here. So like job post has many job applications. Okay, so inside job applications, these are certain attributes: user ID, remarks, submitted at, and all. Okay, so we will use this tool to define or design our data model. Okay, so how we will do that, I will explain that part later. All right, so is it fine? Have you find it useful? Okay, so I will talk about that more later on, and your coaches will also guide you how you can use Xmind to model your database or model your backend system. Okay, after that, the third part is that you have to develop your APIs in Node.js. Remember that what are the REST API design principles, and how you can make your APIs RESTful. That I will give you detailed documentation for that. So you have to know that concepts, and the frameworks already they give some sort of convention how you can design your APIs. Okay, so that is the third part. The fourth part is that you have to create one application or your primary clone application, which we will create using React.js, right? And there is a fifth part also, because you have to create one backend UI for say from where you will upload the products, from where you will set or see the details of the users who or the customers who did sign up. Okay, so for that you need one backend application also. So this is the 5 phases of development that you have to do. So one, create UI; second, data model; third, API; fourth is the primary front end clone; and fifth part is that the backend UI. So backend UI or backend application. So the backend applications UI is subject to you. So you can design as per your basic understanding how backend should be, or you can check some sort of design from internet. So what are the backend design available, or admin panel design available? You can use those design and you can use in your project. So you will not evaluate that part, but the front end part is something which you will evaluate. So there are certain key things that I would like to mention here. So there are, what are the evaluation criteria for each project? So first is that the response, so how much perfect your UI is, okay, how much correct your UI is. Second part is that the responsiveness, whether that UI is working properly in the mobile devices. Third part is that the if you have submitted the proper document data model for your application or not. So that is the third part. Fourth part is that the your APIs are following all the RESTful design principles or not. Okay, that is the fourth part. And the fifth part is, of course, the Node.js and React application, whatever code we will write. So we will evaluate that code and we will give you the grades. Okay, so not only that, your website has to be functional also, means all the features that I have mentioned here that you have to complete. All right, so team boss, are we confident about it? Would you be able to complete this project by the time frame we have, say 1.5 months we have? So are you confident about it to complete it by the time? Yes. Okay, great, fine. So next project comes, that is a Farmeasy clone. Okay, so that is actually Farmeasy is a, I think you know that what is Farmeasy? It is one of India's largest e-commerce. Yes. Okay, so Farmeasy is a similar Flipkart for medicines, right? So similar features are there, and that this project goes to Team Bhaba. Okay, so online medical store. So what Team Bhaba can do with the project? What are the features? So these are the features are almost similar. So the goal is to create a Farmeasy clone with the following key pages or features: similar landing page, medicine listing page. There should be a search option. There should be a details page, add to cart feature, cart page, user sign in, sign out, checkout page, order confirmation, order listing page, order details page, right? It is similar to whatever we have seen on the Flipkart. Okay, and similar things are the Wi-Fi phases of developments are there. First is that you have to design the UI, then the data model comes, then third part is the API that you have to design in Node.js, then there is a React application that you have to create, and the fifth part is that you have to create a React application for the backend system from where you will upload the medicines and all. All right, so who is here from Team Bhaba? Who is here from Team Bhaba? Who is here? Anyone here from Team Bhaba or no one here? Yes, Mayank is here. Okay, great. Who else? Arnab is there. Fine. Anyone else? Anyone else from Team Bhaba? Akila, what are your? Okay, you are here. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, say. So, are you ready to take the challenge and build this Farmeasy clone? So people from Team Bhaba, are you ready to take the challenge? Yes, great. Okay, so let's move on to the next project. So the next project is a Airbnb clone. So what is Airbnb? Anyone knows what is Airbnb? Anyone knows what is Airbnb? Airbnb is a, yes, hotels or properties you can search online, you can do reservations for that. Okay, so this project goes to, yes, book properties online. It goes to Team Kalam. So who is here from Team Kalam? Who is Abhishekta is here? Okay, great. Who else is here? Okay. Team Kalam. So coach is here. Your coach is here. Prashanjit is here. Okay. So the details. This is a little bit different. So what are the key pages for this Airbnb clone? So first there should be a landing screen. Then the search by property, search properties by location feature is required. Means you should say I am staying in Kolkata, and so from Kolkata I want to search my nearby properties. So what are the properties that are available for rent? Okay, so then third part is the property details page is something which you have to show. Fourth page is that the reservation. So there is a feature called reservation. So you can go to Airbnb and you can check there. So what are the details that they are showing there for reservation part. Fifth part is that there should be a checkout page and order confirmation page. Similarly, there are 5 phases of development. First, you have to design the UI with Bootstrap, Material UI, HTML, CSS. Second, you have to create data model for your backend system. Then third, you have to develop your APIs in Node.js. Fourth, you have to create the primary React.js application. And the fifth part is that you should have a backend system from where you will upload the properties, their images, their availability. Okay, so from which days to which date the properties available. Okay, so that part you have to do. So this is kind of a room reservation system. Okay, or a property or a hotel reservation system, right? So Team Kalam, is it fine? So who is here? So I think a lot of people are here from Team Kalam, 5, 6. Yes. Okay, great. Great. So ready to take the challenge? Yes. Okay, great. Fine. So let's move on to the next project. So what is the next project? Let's see. The next project is a CoWin clone. So this time we will build another government website. Okay, but this is going to be interesting because this application has certain features which is very important. Okay, so we will learn about that. So we will create a CoWin clone, and this project goes to Team Dhawan. Okay, Team Dhawan will implement the CoWin clone. Okay, and these are the key features for this application. First, there is a landing screen. Second, there is a sign up option, right? Sign up by mobile phone. Okay, then after login, you can add 4 members to your application. Then fourth thing is that you have to set the appointment. Okay, so once the appointment is done from backend, so you will create one backend system. From the backend you will mark that yes, that person has taken the vaccine. Then at the same instance, so once that user logs into the CoWin clone, they will see there is a download certificate option, so they will be able to download the certificate. Okay, so what are the 5 phases of development here? You have to design the UI using Bootstrap Material UI. Second, you have to create the data model. Then third, you have to create or develop the APIs in Node.js, create your React app, and create your backend applications where you will upload the vaccines availability details. So the data model for this system is going to be interesting. Okay, so who is here from Team Dhawan? Who is here? Team Dhawan? Yes, Ananya is here. Anjali is here. Okay, anyone else from Team Dhawan? Okay, great. So we have some people who are from Team Dhawan. Great, fine. So let's see what is the next project. The next project is a Zomato clone. So we will create a clone for Zomato where we will be able to make our order for food. Okay. So and this project goes to Team Raman. So is anyone here from Team Raman? Team Raman is a team of. So what is your mentor is Aditi, right? Okay. Zomato clone. Zomato clone. Who is here for the clone? Okay, fine. So these are the details for Zomato clone. First, there should be a landing screen or home screen. Then there should be a search restaurant by location feature should be implemented. Third thing is that the restaurant details with menu card you have to show. Then add food items to the cart. Then there is a login or sign up screen. Then there is a checkout page. Then there is an order confirmation page. These are the 7 pages that you have to develop in this application, right? And similarly, the 5 phases of development still it is here: UI, data model, APIs, primary React application, which is the clone application, and the fifth part is the React applications backend from where you will upload the restaurants, the name of the restaurants, what are their foods they're offering, and what are the images for the food that we have to upload. Okay, these are the 5 phases of development you have to follow for creating one Zomato clone, right? So are you ready, Team Raman, to take the challenge? Is it interesting? Yes. Tanvi is saying yes. Anyone else? Okay, great. So Zomato is ready. Then the last part, the last project, yes, It is for team Sarabhai. It is from the team of the coach Kaushik Sarvan. Okay, so let's see what is the project. The last project is a LinkedIn clone. So you have to build a LinkedIn clone. So this is a social networking website that we will build. Okay, so this project, absolutely, this is the last team we have, team Sarabhai, and the details are this project is little bit different from others. So there is a sign in, sign up, sign out option should be implemented. Landing page means the feeds page, from where you can see feeds for your connection. So whatever your connections are uploading, that details you need to show here on the feeds. So the data model for this part is going to be interesting, right? So the third page is that the profile page. Say you have your profile in LinkedIn, how you update the details there. And the fourth part is that the connection feature. So you can add, say, like we have friend request in Facebook. Similarly, you can send a connection request to the to your connections, or to other LinkedIn users, right? Then there is a messaging option should be there. This is something, say, I would say simple messaging also you can implement. So not a real-time messaging you have to do. Then the sixth part is that the add new post feature, like we do a Facebook post. Similarly, we can write one LinkedIn post, right? So there we should give one permission to add a new comment, and reactions like a like, dislike, or say celebrate options are there, right? So love reactions are there that you have to implement. And the key, there are four phases of development for LinkedIn. The backend system is not required. That's why there are only four phases. The first part is that you have to design the UI using HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, Material UI, create data model for your system, develop APIs in Node.js, and then create your primary React application in primary React clone application. So who is here from Team Sarabhai? Yes, Manu. So are you ready to take the challenge? Yes, Soumik is there. Okay, great. So LinkedIn is a very interesting challenge because there are some certain challenges for feeds. Then there is a connection feature. Then there is a messaging feature. If you can add Socket.io here, this is going to be interesting. You can add Socket.io here to send the real-time messages, or you can see you can use other messaging options are there that you can use also, right? So yes. So are you ready, everyone? Are you ready to start the project? Because this is the first phase is the UI part. So you have to go from today. So start from today onwards, if you have time, and from or today or tomorrow, you start with this development of the UI phase. Then I will guide you how you can. So in maybe in the next session, I will guide you for the first 20-30 minutes to how you can use Xmind. So by the time you install Xmind, through which you will design your first data model, right? A data model plays a very important role in every project, because if your data model is ready, so that means from the data model only you can create your APIs. Okay, and then after APIs, so you can how you will know how you will structure your database, so how the relations you will build, so that part you will know for sure, right? That's why data model is the important part. So we will know that in more detail in next session onwards. Okay, so these are the action items for you for this week. So you have to start learning this Node.js first. Then you have to create your first HTTP server is Node.js. That is another thing. You have to complete all mandatory installations like Node.js, MongoDB, Xmind, and all. Then the fourth thing is that you have to install learn and use MongoDB. Then start your work on your final project, means where you will design the UI, and you stay prepared for the weekend assessment. There is a test, because the test we have delayed for a bit, because due to some internal reasons we have delayed it, and we will release the test maybe today or tomorrow. We will release it, and within a day or two you complete. So this is the basic questions we have with for JavaScript and REST API that you have to complete. Okay, so apart from that, you complete the installations, you start with Node.js, start learning Node.js, and in parallelly you start working with these clone applications UI, right? Does it sound interesting, everyone? This sounds interesting. Yes. Okay. Great. So this is it. So this is the today's session, and yes, very much. So how we will use? Okay, we will be using ODM like Mongoose over MongoDB. Yes, we will use ODM like ODM is What is ODM? Anyone knows what is ODM? ODM is object data model that we will use. So in this case, in case of MongoDB, we have Mongoose, which we will use. So through that, we don't have to write raw queries for databases. We can use ODMs, and they give certain functions which we can use to perform database operations like finding some records or editing some records, deleting some records, updating records. That is something they have some certain functions. So in this case, in MongoDB, they have Mongoose. Okay, so you can take a note for that. So whenever you will learn MongoDB, then that part you will also learn Mongoose as well, right? This is something which you will use for sure. So this is it about today's live session. So I will come back on Monday. So Monday I will talk about more about Node.js and then MongoDB. So I will also introduce you to some new topics, and then I will show you how to write your own, how to design your own data model for sure. Okay, so till that time, so stay in the learning phase. So where you are learning, you are implementing certain things, you are doing some post on LinkedIn, though it is reduced a bit. I know, I can see that the posts have reduced, but I would encourage all of you at the end of the day to stay, keep your energy level high and give your maximum for this next say 5 weeks or 6 weeks, whatever we have. All right, everyone, bye. So I will see you on next Monday, right? Bye.